either of you know any connection between the biofield and gratitude?
I can speak to that, but before I do, I want to add another piece that came to my mind when you were kind of summarizing some of the information I shared with you, and it had to do with when you were speaking about gratitude is just one of the things we could potentially do as human beings. And we're primarily, at least in this epoch, we could say, beings of like a mind consciousness, where that's where so much of our faculties, our sense of will and activity in the world are centered. It's really our duty as human beings to cultivate and activate all the different faculties of our minds. And all too often, particularly in the West, we're very passive. We're just kind of living day to day, and we're not engaging, and we're not developing and strengthening ourselves. And I think in part, this will get to the topic we were going to speak of later of sovereignty and human development. So I'll plant that as a seed. Yeah. But as far as the biofield, yes, we did some pilot research at our lab at UC San Diego, where we had people keep the gratitude journal, again, even for 10, 15 minutes while sitting in the lab. And I don't know if you're familiar with the BioWell. This is a device Tiffany uses in her work.
Konstantin Korotkov's?
Yes, exactly.
It's Perfect. Right there.
It measures the energy system of the body. And we had people do the BioWell test before, and then also after they did their gratitude journaling. And it was really fascinating, the findings that came from that. And essentially, so many of the energetic components within the BioWell, and Tiff could speak more to the exact variables, I don't remember them, but they all increased significantly when the person was doing the gratitude work. So it activated specific energy centers in the body relevant to the heart and cardiac health and cardiac, maybe chi or prana flow. So yes, I'd say there's a connection to the biofield, and that's as far as I know about it.
Wow. Specific centers in the body affected by gratitude, and that's exactly where you would expect it as well. That's super beautiful. What I would love to talk more about is like what is the biofield? Let's help the audience understand a little bit more. What is the biofield? And Tiffany, what did you learn that could be gleaned from something like BioWell? As for those who didn't hear me say, Konstantin Korotkov, I interviewed him for Psychedelica season 1. So there were also tests done for people who had gone through ayahuasca, but this is super interesting because that's ayahuasca, for all intents and purposes, is great when handled responsibly, but also is a big intervention. Keeping a gratitude journal would be a good way to start, for a lot of people. So, but I would love the audience to better understand, what is the biofield? What kind of technology do we have? And what is it telling us we can start now gleaning about the human experience from bioenergetics?
Fantastic. Thank you for that. You were going to say something.
Can I?
Yes, please. It's so pregnant within him.
You've got me excited about the gratitude topic, particularly when you asked about the biofield, and then you said something like, well, that makes total sense as far as the relationship to the heart. So when we speak of the human heart, what else is typically associated with the heart? Well, that's love. Right? Across cultures, this is the seat of love, at least on a physical sense. And when we've done some deep reflection and contemplation on what exactly gratitude is, from our point of view, gratitude it helps a person participate in the phenomenon of love of creation itself. If you just consider that esoterically and energetically, from our own, let's say, spiritual research, that's what's going on. It's often said that love is all there is, that the entire creation is essentially comprised of love, that it's just different manifestations of love over and over and over again. What we call gratitude is the human experience of love and appreciation fundamentally of creation itself. I'd say akin or in parallel, or maybe we're experiencing just a slice of what the creator herself feels of her own creation. For me, for Tiff, that is what gratitude is. And that's why it's so transformative. So when we begin to foster that and develop it in ourselves, we're developing a deep participation actually in the phenomenon of creation appreciating itself.
Yeah. I mean, so that makes something else stir in me. And I guess I just want to mention, I don't know if it's really a question, but I've been reading the Tao Te Ching probably longer than any other like sacred or esoteric script. And in the Tao, and also a lot of stories associated with it, there's this concept that the world already has its gift and its perfection innate within it. And there's something about having gratitude for what is that seems to be a core faculty of the Tao, of a way of seeing. Like the Buddha had also said, right sight leads to right understanding, leads to right action, but you can't arrive at right action without those core fundamental steps. But like right sight is also how we frame our lot in life, or the cards that we're dealt. So I appreciate this because gratitude does seem like a useful tool as a practice for those who may not know how to appreciate their lot in life. But working with gratitude opens that channel of love back open, and may allow them to see that life is a gift. Even in its hardship, there's lesson and there's more we can glean from it. Because gratitude, I forget who said it, but probably a ton of people, gratitude's easy when everything's going all right.
Mm-hmm.
And conversely, in the world right now, things are getting very volatile. And I think it's also a very prime opportune time to acknowledge that there is a lot to be grateful for in the world right now, as it stands, as it is. So that's just something that came to me. If you want to comment on that, that'd be great. Please, Tiff.
Yeah.
Please, Tiff. Thank you. Thank you for that, Ben.
Yeah, and I'll weave it into the biofield as well, because as a healer, and I really grapple with even using that word, because I'm not doing anything. I'm helping a person be able to find their own salutogenesis, their own ability to regenerate themselves. I just become a willing participant to bridge a person, so that when I say the word healer, it's not in a responsible or hierarchical way. So just wanted to qualify that. But from that role from which I have operated at times, one of the key things that I will tell a person or suggest to a person that they do is immediately say thank you for anything that's happened to them, anything. And that makes a shift in the field, the field first. Because the way that I see it, and I think many others, is the field has all the information. And then it densifies by coming into the physical body. And then we have things to heal at the physical level. But it's so much easier when we're working out in the field before it actually takes a spot in the body. But no matter what the experience is, thank you. Thank you. As that shift starts to take place, there's a physiological change from what I just clairvoyantly see and clairaudiently hear, is an acceptance, a willingness to find the gold in that situation. And that starts to catapult a change, because gratitude is actually much more of a spiritual practice. If a person is, and how I use the word spiritual, is not of dogma, it's of your own relationship to spirit, whatever you deem that to be. And I think one of the interesting findings, to also come back to the gratitude study, is that gratitude in the mediation, you describe this better than I do, but in it was a mediating factor that gratitude was actually more prevalent, more from a spiritual perspective, right? Can you say that properly, please?
Gratitude was the mediator, statistically a mediator of the relationship of spirituality to all the benefits we saw in the patients.
Wow.
What that meant is that what we call spirituality in our culture, it's often comprised of a multitude of other factors, such as love and compassion and gratitude and other things. In the study, when we did a certain statistical analysis that basically showed, yes, if we use concept of spirituality, that was also very important and predictive in our findings, but it was only the gratitude component of spirituality that carried the benefits. The other things didn't.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you when you say it carried the benefits, you mean like statistically significant, you can measure it?
Yes.
Yes.
It's called a mediation analysis, and that was the findings. And it repeated itself again and again in many of the variables.
Wow. Wow. Make sure y'all head over to benjosephstewart.com, become a member. You'll have access to the growing library of deeper dives where I talk about all the stuff that I really can't talk about on YouTube. Make sure you get involved in the Discord chat. That's where a lot of the conversation is happening, talking about new theories, being able to interweave into the greater conversation that is how we awaken infinity. That's our highest potential. And I just want to remind you, you are the most powerful technology ever known to creation. Wield it like an artist with a conscience.